Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to West Prairie High School in Colchester, Illinois. It's time for varsity basketball. Let's meet the starting lineups.
Number 3, Harley Haynes. Number 5, Lainey Clausing. Number 10, Addie Seitz. Number 11, Grace Seitz. Number 21, Lily Higgins. The Heat are coached by Tyler Clausen, assisted by Haley Eisnicker and Darcy Heap. And now, the starting lineup for your West Prairie Cyclones. Number 2, Madeline Sullivan. Number 10, Josie Hodges. Number 21, Peyton McGrew. Number 24, and birthday girl, Ashlyn Kelly. Number 35, Madeline Tones. Cyclones are coached by Grant Bland, assisted by Lauren Powell, Maddie Palmer, and Michael Purdy. Officials tonight, Clay Schlegel, Daryl Ippenson, and Scott Cowell. Good luck to both teams this evening.
Yeah, there you have the starting lineups, courtesy of Greg Phelps, who's going to be calling the game with you. You could hear him. I turned his mic up a little bit so you folks could hear him a little better than hearing it off mine. And Greg, if do you have an extra pencil? Because I seem to have lost my pen somewhere.
Oh,
here.
now come on. You know better. You know better than that. You know I always have about 18 different pencils.
Well, I figured as much. I just had mine. I actually put mine somewhere so I wouldn't lose it. And guess what?
Well, I've known other people wanted to put that somewhere on you, but we're not going to talk about that.
Lily Higgins with a rebound and a putback starts the scoring for the Heats.
And I'll reset our scoreboard here in just a second. Sorry.
I forgot about that. Sorry about that.
Well, that's all right. We'll just.
And a turnover. Higgins ends up with it. She'll head it back the other way. Gives it off to Seitz of the Addie variety. A couple Seitz on the team today. As Harley Haynes gets called for a travel.
So in other words, we're seeing the Seitz.
We are seeing the Seitz today. That is correct.
Hey, when you have ones like that, you gotta go for it. And there we go. So a 2-0 lead for West Central. Madeline Sullivan working it up here against pressure. Bouncing across to Kelly. Kelly quickly up to McGrew. Got it. Yes. And it counts. And that's one of the things you can expect out of Peyton McGrew. And with starting a little bit of a change in his starting lineup from the last game that I saw, as you have McGrew and Tones both in there. Madeline Tones does a great job on the inside. And Peyton McGrew will now try to put the Cyclones in the lead. Shot is up, no good. Rebound tipped around and going to be pulled out of there by Clausing. Clausing works it over to Haynes, and she'll work it up on Sullivan. Man on man put on here. And actually, Cyclones do a little trapping. And a bump block indoor foul called on Josie Hodges. 2-2 tie here so far. 7:04 mark of the first quarter of play. And I'll warn you, folks, it'll take me a while to warm up a little bit. Feels like been forever since I've been at a game. That I'm not coaching, that I'm not screaming on the sideline, I guess you could say. Shot is up, rebound there. Ashlyn Kelly ties it up along with Gracie Seitz.
Possession to West Prairie.
West Central trying to pressure here.
West Central's got a couple of older players, as nearly one of those older players, Haynes, knocks it off of West Prairie's number 24. That's Ashlyn Kelly, and it goes out of bounds off of her, so it'll be Heat basketball. So they have a few upperclassmen, a lot less upperclassmen playing for the Cyclones, though. You talked about building a program. A lot of freshmen on the floor right now for West Prairie.
And
Higgins is going to get called for a travel.
I thought they were going to call a foul, and you're about going to hear the coach come out. Hard to get out of that mode, Dwayne.
Timeout called on the floor. It's a 30-second timeout going to be charged to the West Prairie Cyclones. It'll be their first timeout. They'll have 4 timeouts left, 6:50 to go here in quarter number 1.
And don't forget the folks at MTC Communications. Having slow and reliable internet just doesn't cut it in 2024. MTC Communications offering lightning fast, reliable fiber internet, video, phone service, and camera systems to the McDonough, Henderson, and Hancock County areas. Visit mtc.crowdfiber.com to check your availability. Don't forget to check out all the information in the community news brief by our friend and colleague, Mr. Shelby Burgett.
Shelby is, I don't know where he's at tonight. He was going to watch the Macomb game we did last night. I'm sure he's probably at Geneseo Macomb tonight. Boys game.
Cyclones, nice job working up against that pressure. And a little bit of hand on Higgins.
If that was hand or hip or both, maybe.
Hand check would be the, I guess, appropriate term, basketball appropriate term. Cyclones, 2-2 tie here. Get line to lob it into Sullivan. And that one, big trouble as a fight for it, tipped out of bounds. And it'll go West Prairie's way. So you let West Central set up their pressure.
There's one thing you're not going to see Madeline Sullivan not do, and that's hustle.
Exactly.
A couple subs coming in. Number 20, who I didn't put in the book there. Apparently. Number 20.
And
I don't have a number 20.
I don't either. The player to be named later. We'll take care of that at halftime. Madeline Sullivan with the inbounds. And stepped on the end line. And that's one of those things, and you got to get kids to understand when you bring the ball in on the press, dribbling is exactly what you don't want to do. You want to get the ball, maybe take a couple dribbles and pass.
That depends on, right into Haynes, an easy bucket, and Tones, I believe, is going to get the foul. Haynes will get the and one. It is going to be on Tones, her first. Now, what I was going to say, that depends on the type of press, right? If it's a zone press, you pass through it. If it's a man press, you dribble through it.
Exactly.
Correct? And this, for people at home wondering, it was a zone press. I do believe it was anyway.
I'm more of a pass guy if you think about it anyway. And a little bit of nerves.
That's one of the things that I think people don't understand about a press right there. Is it looks like it's broken, but just the up-tempo pressure of a press, even once you get it broke, you're pushing so hard that you kind of lose track of what's going on sometimes.
Well, you've got your token pressure, you've got hard pressure, you've got don't let the ball. I mean, there's many different varieties. And it looks like the Cyclones playing maybe a 1-2-2, 2-3, or 3-2 possibly, as Kelly looks to bring it up and picks up the foul on Haynes. And that's another one I can see Coach Clausen stretches. That's one of those that will drive you absolutely bonkers.
If you're going to try to take the charge, you got to get in front, right?
Well,
Not
and
off to the side.
just slide in front already. And you got to slide in front. If you're going to do that, slide in front.
I think he's trying to give her a hard time. She's like, man, that's one. Come on. Give me a break here.
Ashlyn Kelly, nice catch and shoot there. Fight for the rebound. Pulled out of there by Haynes. She'll dribble it up here as Sullivan picks her up. Now they switch into man-on-man. Haynes with it in the lane. Kicks out and shot up and on the way. Shot no good. Tones with the rebound. Up to McGrew. That almost looked like the hook and lateral that you flip back. And that's one of those, too. And that's one of those things Madeline's going to have to adjust to is back up.
Well, and she's an all go volleyball player, right?
Right.
Has not played basketball for quite a while, and she's obviously got the ball handling skills to do it. She's just got to learn to – sometimes you have to slow down to go fast. We say that in racing a lot, and that's one of the things here that she probably is there. She did a great job of it, getting the ball up the court.
Well, it's the go fast but don't hurry. Now, and you'll see a turnover. You saw a turnover on that last sequence. That's what I call an acceptable turnover. You're trying to push the ball. You're trying to get a quick bucket and just a little miscommunication on a pass. Those are acceptable turnovers. I mean, obviously you don't want 30 of them, but those are, pretty acceptable. If you're pushing the ball and you're working it, you're trying to get offense. Haynes got a spot up a three, no good. Rebound tipped out of bounds, and I think they're going to get McGrew over the back.
Yeah. The farthest official away got it, but it's a good call. That'll be the second on Peyton McGrew. Third on the team. Well, they got the first up there.
Right into Haynes, and that's twice that they've caught West Prairie off the inbounds. Caught him napping. We've got a foul, and there is 2 on Haynes, and that's why you don't want to burn the one up the sideline like she did earlier.
Now Coach is going to say exactly what you just said, right?
Yep. That's why you don't burn that one, because now you got 2.
They have Peyton McGrew with 1, Hodges with 1. So I'll fix that in my score sheet.
Pass into the corner, tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with West Prairie. And the Cyclones here are doing some excellent things working. And it's a build. Again, Madeline Sullivan took a year or 2 off from basketball. She's back now. Those are things that'll come, and you're working with a lot of freshmen, a sophomore, and people that had some varsity experience. Last year was kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, last year was not fun for very many people probably, but the fact that the younger kids are coming up and stepping up, and you got people like Madeline Sullivan coming in and playing, helps the program with its growth, right?
It does. It helps a lot. And they have a ton of potential. There's a lot. Peyton McGrew, ton of potential inside. And kind of wild end-to-end play. And that one, I think we had him over the back that didn't get called there. You climb on. But that's one thing Tones does. She gets in there, works well. Good. And
Laney Clausing driving in. She's going to be fouled, get a couple free throws.
And that one's going to be on McGrew, so that's going to get Haley Hendricks up.
That will be her second now, just after I erased it.
3:49 left to go in the second quarter or first quarter of play.
So you wonder, we got started real early with this game, and you wonder how that happened as Clausing hits the first free throw. We didn't know it going into the game. Greg and I didn't, but we played 2 10-minute running halves in the JV contest with only a 6-minute halftime. And that allowed us to get to this one pretty quick. But, Greg, this pace of this first quarter might catch up and make up for all that time that we caught in the first game.
We've had a lot of grabbies, and that will happen. People say, hey, but it is still early season basketball. May not think it, but it is. As you know, Thanksgiving, a little bit before Thanksgiving is the start of the girls' season. Ashlyn Kelly up with that again. Hendricks had it go in and out of her hands, and then a travel.
Laney Clausing stepped on the end line, actually. There's been a lot of that tonight. Have you noticed that?
There has been. And again, it's kind of early season here. Cyclones set it up. And Hendricks.
Oof.
Out to Sullivan. She'll spot the 3. Can't get the bank. And Tones tried to tap it out. Couldn't get it out of there. Now they've got a 2-on-2 pass. And Madeline did a nice job on the block. And
Addie Seitz? No, that's number 20.
Again, we'll get that at halftime. 10-2 lead here for West Central. Sullivan with it to Hodges. Watching Kelly along the baseline. Kelly swinging to Sullivan, swinging over to Hodges.
So 1-3-1 right now from the Heat. But Addie Seitz on the baseline is not running the baseline like most 1-3-1 bases run.
No, you have to have somebody that's ready to get super tired because they have to go end to end to end to end. Sullivan another 3, no good. Rebound pulled down by number 12. That's Miley Stimson into the game. She was in the JV game.
So there's some freshmen playing in this one for both teams. There's a lot of freshmen playing in this varsity contest. Wondered why they didn't want to play the full consortment of JV contest, and we might be seeing why.
Yep.
And timeout on the floor is going to be called by the Heat. It'll be a full timeout.
We'll step aside here. This is TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH.
At Western Illinois University, Leathernecks don't just blend in. Our purple stands out. Our students are innovative, creative, and resilient. At WIU, there's limitless potential, with campuses in Macomb, the Quad Cities, and online. Visit wiu.edu/potential to become a Leatherneck and get an education that stands out.
And we are back here. I want to thank some of the rest of our very fine sponsors here. Folks like JoJo's Gaming Parlor, offering the best gaming experience in McDonough County area. Stop in for a cold drink, chance to take home a nice wad of cash while you're at it. Also on game nights, check out the TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH Events, live on the big screens. Come join your friends at JoJo's, located at 776 North Cole Street, Bushnell, and cheer our area teams on to victory. Scoring has once again been a little bit of a premium. And I got to say this, folks. I mean, I know you know I talk a lot about coaching junior high basketball. I just looked up at the clock and thought maybe we were in the second quarter. You forget about it being 8-minute quarters. You forget how long high school games can be.
Yeah, this one has taken quite some time now as the Heat fall back into a 2-3 zone with Haynes in the middle of the 2-3 now. And fall out of the pressure that they had earlier.
And the way they are playing it, there's a lot of room there in the middle.
There's almost a 2-1-2 as Haynes comes up and is fronting Hendricks, who's in there.
And nice shot there by Sullivan. Good rebound by Ashlyn Kelly. Out to Sullivan they'll go.
Now, as a coach, I feel like posting up a zone is really hard to do. She got the ball down there that time, but get her a little higher in the post, take Haynes out of the middle and flash somebody down there, maybe work a little better in that scenario.
There's ways you can do that. It depends on what you really try to do is if you're going to post them up, you try to overload the zone. In fact, one of the plays we run, it's called overload. You try to overload the side. Kelly with a nice bat up the floor, in and good. And that is one of the things Ash is really good at, getting out in transition. And that's what love to see these guys get out in transition a little more if they can get the rebound and get out.
The 3 up and good, and that's number 2, actually. Addison Burrell with 3.
And that is a Sports Corner 3. Put up in there, 13-4 now. Minute left in this first quarter. Mason Shipman with it. She'll put up the 3. No good. Rebound Haynes, and she's going to get fouled by Hendricks, I believe. And just remember, if in case you didn't know this, now in high school basketball and in junior high as well, they got rid of the traditional 1-and-1s. It's all 2-shot fouls, but it's if there's 5 fouls in a quarter.
Yeah, so it's amazing you still get there, but it's usually a little towards the end. But it does change, and as a coach, you probably, I don't know if you've noticed this much in junior high, but, man, it does change the end of the second and fourth quarter quite a bit.
It does. It changes your some of your strategy. As Madeline Tones in, Haley Hendricks out. It changes your strategy a lot because you know they're going to get 2 shots. No more do you have the chance to get them into the 1-and-1 and get a miss and get a rebound.
And it also changes the end of a game, too. We saw it in the Spartan Tip-Off Classic last week when Illini Bluffs and Illini West was playing. Illini Bluffs had the ball down by 2 with 11.1 seconds left, but Illini West had 4 fouls to give. So they just started fouling every time they got the ball in.
Yep, and it
wastes a bunch of time, a lot more than you think it does.
We had that situation in 2 or 3 games as well, and the hop by Haynes during the trial, and you can where you foul and make them waste time at the end of the game. The other thing is, as a coach, you have to be way more mindful of who's a good free throw shooter and who's not, because they're getting 2 no matter what, and it's how you do things as well, how you run your offense. Shipman with a runner, no good, gets her own rebound, can't get it to go, fight for it, and we've got another foul in there.
Sullivan, I think, is going to get it this time.
And it was a good thought. West End are going to shoot a couple more.
With 13 seconds exactly on the clock.
West Prairie doing some good movement of the basketball, just haven't got the shots to drop in.
They're getting good looks. It's not like they're not getting open looks at the basket. It's just, practice a little more, and as the season goes on, a lot of those shots will probably fall.
And first one going to rattle in and good.
This is Leah Klossing at the free throw line, 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get the hair on the back of their numbers, and it's hard for me to see them sometimes.
And 16-4 the lead here, 12-point lead here for West Central. as Shipman will put one up and miss it. Rebound coming out of there to Haynes. And that's going to be the end of the first quarter.
It seems like the first half.
A lot has happened in that first quarter. 16-4 the lead here for the West Central Heat. Let's take this time out on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
Let's go. We got a lot of acres to take 4 tires of fuel, 4 tires of fuel. Come on, we got to get him back out there. He's a busy man.
I'm just here for seed.
It's all part of it. Suit up.
Nutrient Ag Solutions has everything you need to win the season and go full speed ahead.
I'm back here, 16-4. I was just going to compliment the program on how it had been good to me all first quarter, and then it did that. That's, folks, it's always a running joke with me. The scoreboard program and I do not like each other at all, well, not one bit.
You know, I figured out a way to cheat the scoreboard program.
How's that? Not use it?
No, I pushed the start button on the clock. So every time a second goes off, it updates itself. So even if it doesn't show the score the way I want it to, it does it. So I don't have to figure out a way to do it. So I just push the start button at the start of every quarter, like the clock's running.
There you go.
You just got to learn the cheats, right? I just figured that out like 3 basketball games ago. And how long have we used this score program?
And you do remember I'm technologically challenged. I have to remind you that many times over, how technologically challenged I can be when we do these games. And Sullivan with a steal on the inbound, right up and in with a bucket. And that is the way that you want to start a quarter.
Yeah, you'll take that.
And we'll get the lineups for you in just a moment as West Central has the basketball over on the outside to Laney. Clausing missed it. Haynes with it now. Tone's got to be a little careful. And that one going to be on Shipman. And again, that's one of those, you like the aggression, but you got to dial, you got to know where to do that at.
Yeah, you got to know where that line has to stop, right? You got to know where the line is and stop before it instead of crossing it.
And now they're going to look coming to Haynes with McGrew on her. McGrew's got to be a little careful. She's got 2. Had Higgins posted up. Actually wanted to set it back up, and they're trying to work it out top, work it out for Sights.
And now
Ashlyn Kelly's got her at half court. Then now underneath to Higgins, up and in. Can't forget the people. You got to see both sides of the floor there.
I'm not real sure about that defensive scenario there.
And McGrew tossed that one up. They're going to say it was over.
Oh. Haynes touched it.
And
I thought Haynes touched it. Daryl, the official, says that she did not touch it.
And actually, depending on what he ruled, what it was, it could be that Haynes did not, I guess, rule that she didn't possess it enough to cause the change. Sometimes that'll do that if there's not a clear. Haynes going to take that
long 2.
One. Yep, the dreaded long 2.
As a coach, don't you wish you just stepped back another 3 inches?
To be honest with you,
never shoot the 3. I suppose.
No. Honestly, my philosophy is I'd rather them catch and shoot than think about it. That's totally my philosophy. Is if you needed a 3, yeah, I'm going to be kind of unhappy with you. But
Higgins is going to pick up her 3rd foul,
and that was pretty quick.
She'll sit down again, the freshman.
But I would rather you just catch and shoot naturally and not worry about that so much. If it's a game situation where we got to have a 3 to tie, okay, yeah. But I'd rather have them catch and shoot than think about it.
How is that not a carry?
Sullivan with it, going to drive in. Nice drive on the way. McGrew had a hand on it. Got dumped.
Laney Clausing is going to pick up a foul, I think. It'll be her first. Team's 2nd of the half. Quarter, whatever this is.
Madison McClure going to make her first appearance tonight, replacing Josie Hodges. And they're really chasing after Madeline Sullivan. Hadn't even bounced the ball to her yet. Has it out top there. Dribbles to McClure. McClure gives a look. Drives in, hands it to McGrew. McGrew up and in.
And she powered that through, too. That was a good post move from Peyton McGrew.
And that's what they need to do. Opens up the outside, and Madeline Tones got there. That's one of those you need a little bit of Oscar-worthy performance.
Well, you can't start moving before you get hit. That's what got her there, I think. She was there and then kind of started fading away from the contact. 9 times out of 10, if you're fading before the contact comes, you're going to get the hit.
But I do applaud the try at the charge. I mean, that's what you want girls to do, get in front, be willing to sell out to get that. First one missed by Addie Seitz. Second one up and on the way. It is good.
They've been really concerned about Addie Seitz, and that's her first point of the night.
Sullivan dribbling. And now they've said it is still a zone pressure, more of an extended zone. Sullivan turns that one over. And crossing up the floor, it comes to a stop.
Hey, it hasn't been halftime yet. We didn't figure out who number 20 was.
Nope. And dribbling in, Klossing missed it.
There was 2 Heat players over there wide open. As the foul's on Lainey Klossing. It's going to be her second of the half, but she missed that, and that was a frustration foul, I think. But there was 2 Heat players as the entire Cyclones defense came to the near side of the floor here.
And I saw Coach Klossing come over. That's a father-daughter moment. Ask my daughter about it sometimes.
Yeah, he did not have the smile on his face that he had with the other girls that had come over after something like that.
Haynes with a nice cross-court steal on McClure in the lane.
Oh, that's a travel.
Yep. And that's one of those.
She's got to give that up to Leah Klossing right there, doesn't she?
Yep. Tried that college Euro step, but you got it just a little different than that.
Well, you got to do it in fluid motion. You can't jump, stop, and then step. That's a travel 99% of the time.
And honestly, as a coach, you'd rather have her go straight up with it. And over and back on the Cyclones.
Leah Klossing came running up and trying to get that ball, and Madeline Sullivan kind of just was leaning over, picked it up. It's like, come on, what are you running so hard for? Killing me here, Smalls.
5:10 and counting here in the second quarter. 21-8 lead for West Central. They dribble out top here. Leah Klossing with it, one of the freshmen. Try to get in the lane to Haynes. Is able to do a nice job to catch it. Fired it. That one off the arm of Madeline Tones, and I don't think Tones even realized.
Well, I think she stuck her arm up at the last second. She saw the ball coming across. That's a good job. She was guarding her player, but had her eye on the ball and got her arm up in the passing lane. And you can't ask for much more than that from a post player.
And Haynes on the dribble there, probably going to be on Madeline Tones, I would assume. Yep.
It's her third.
And Haynes up at the free throw line. Try to drop a couple. Already each team with 3 fouls in the quarter. And we're not even halfway. Haynes with the first one.
Checking in is Haley Hendricks. It is Haley, not Hallie, right?
Yes, it is Haley.
Couldn't read my own writing there for a second. I was pretty sure it was Haley, and I looked down at my writing.
Hines misses it, and 2 Cyclones battle over it, McClure and McGrew, and it'll stay with West Central.
Checking in is number 2, Addison Burrell. Grace Seitz leaving.
Box offensive set there. And they were trying to load Haynes and load the post. And it's one of those things that's got to be in quick, go. In quick, go.
Jump ball, possession of West Prairie.
And West Prairie can chip a little bit off of this. Cyclones coming out a little stronger in this second quarter play. And this is that same 1-2-1-1, diamond and one, whichever way you want to call it. Defense that they run as West Central will push it up. Shot no good. Rebound no good as well. Tipped around. McGrew is going to finally come out of there with it. And a scrum for it. And
oh, how's that not a foul? That's over and back. Holy smokes.
oh,
She's trying to figure out, what did I do wrong? And I mean, that's number 20 again. You can't really blame her. She caught it in such a position. There's no way she was stopping where she got the ball at.
No, his momentum carried across her. I was just laughing. I've been on the end of those. Peyton McGrew, nice try. Couldn't get it to go. Hendricks snags the rebound, and she is fouled.
They're going to call Leah Klossing. Nope, they're not. Number 20. That's team's fourth.
And I will say that kind of that is one of the pet peeves I have in basketball right now. Sullivan drains a beautiful shot. That's what I mean about the catch and shoot. I'd rather have them catch and shoot and do that than worry about anything else. As Haynes, basically they're playing 4-on-4. Seitz is out on the outside. And good defense played by Peyton McGrew. Stimson will come in.
Gonna try 2 again, so that means they're going to try the overload at the post like you were talking about.
And that one, Sullivan out on the run. And foul on the way.
Addie Seitz got a whole lot of arm on Madeline Sullivan, and that could have been ugly.
And that's one of those ones, when you throw a pass, you've got to watch where your defense is. You've got to be repositioned, as Sullivan will try to chip a little more, put this down into single digits. And the point I was making before is I guess the allowance of rolling on the ground. There's been a preponderance of that, and that's a $10 word. I guess in my vocabulary, it always has been that's been a travel. And so Sullivan makes it, cuts it to a 21-11 lead, and we've got a timeout called on the floor. Let's take this timeout on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
Working at MDH feels special to me because I'm also from a small community like MDH, and I love to be able to care for communities like this and be able to give them high standards of excellence with medical care as possible. You know, some people like to take more of a medical approach to their care. Some people like to take more of a holistic. And I just want to be able to make their plan of care as individualized as possible.
One of those.
And we are back here. Thanks to some of the very fine sponsors we have, as he lost what page he was after. Pawn Plus is proud to have served Macomb and the surrounding area for over 20 years, providing cash for most items of value. Christmas is coming. Pawn Plus can help you out. Our area's largest seller of used items, including firearms. Also provide on-site jewelry repairs and open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday. Great selection of jewelry, electronics, tools, and video games.
Got Shelby Bowman going to come up and talk to us a little bit at halftime today or tonight or this evening or whatever.
I asked her if she was going to sign autographs afterward. But
what'd she say?
She said she might. She might. Haynes dribbling down there, and once again, that Euro step. And you see what they've done now is they've switched Peyton McGrew on her, which speed-wise is probably a better matchup, although McGrew has the 2 fouls.
Hendricks is a little better. There's that pass they wanted in there.
Yep, and that's at least 3 times they've caught the Cyclones on that. 23-11.
Haynes has 9 points.
Sullivan with it out top, comes to Kelly. Kelly looked in. Over to McClure. McClure looking in. Had McGrew for a second. Now brings it to the corner. Bounce out to Sullivan. Sullivan swinging to Hendricks. To McClure. McClure swinging with 2:45 left to go here. Had it tapped out of bounds.
And Burrow couldn't track it down. 2:45 left. Yeah. They're lined up in a 1-2-2 right now. But it's almost like a matchup zone kind of.
Well, you can call a 1-2-2 a 3-2 sometimes. It depends on how you deploy your wings.
Yeah, they were lined up in a. There's a
and
3.
Sullivan, a stop and pop for three, a sports corner three. Madeline Sullivan cuts the lead to 23-14.
She's got 8 points here in quarter number 2. Addie Seitz to the rack and lays one off, no good.
Hendricks
just took about 3 steps.
And that one, they're going to call a foul, but
That looked like a lot of ball.
depends on what happened underneath.
I call it on Hendricks.
So that's going to put West Central up at the line. Addie Seitz up there.
That'll be 4, so both teams will be shooting the rest of the way.
And that's going to bounce around, fall in, and good.
Seitz is 2 for 3 from the free throw line. It's her only 2 points tonight.
So back to a 10-point lead. Second one's good as well. Sullivan needs somebody to come get the basketball, and they wing it in. Kelly nearly has it, now does, lobs it up to McGrew.
That had crazy spin on it. Did you see that?
It did.
Went right, it was past Kelly. There's a nice move by Peyton McGrew and putting it back up off again. But it had, that's touched.
Yep.
It'll stay with the Cyclones. But it went past her and it spun right back to her like it was a pass to her. Like, you know, like you see people at the free throw line spin the ball and it bounced back up to them.
And if it was a punt, it was one of those you love on a inbounds pass, nearly taken away. Yep.
Laney Klossing went down hard on that one.
McGrew in there, and that's what I was hoping to see her do. Go up hard, strong into Seitz and keep drawing those fouls.
That's the second on Seitz.
And that's what McGrew can do. Get that ball in the post, get it up, get some fouls drawn. And free throws, getting there. I tell you, this whole program, watch them over the next 2 to 3 years. There's a lot of good things coming.
Peyton's a freshman, right?
She is.
Second one's good. I'm pretty sure she's already better than her dad was. I'm not positive, but
I'll let you verify that.
I would take, Hendricks is going to get another foul.
Yep.
And then bounces it in the face of the official. Just to verify who gets the foul.
Yep.
Stripes, that's all I was doing. I just wanted to make sure you knew it was me.
Well, and he didn't do a very good job catching it.
No, he didn't. He caught it with his chin, I think. Seitz
at the line. Free throw short. Madeline Tones will check in.
Hendricks will take a seat, I'm sure, with 3 fouls. Tones checks in with 3 fouls, though.
So going to have to be real careful there.
Still 1:49 to go here in the first half.
Second one is good.
4 of 6 from the charity stripe here in quarter number 2 for Seitz.
Cyclones breaking it. Out to Sullivan. Sullivan over to Kelly. Kelly, couple dribbles. Puts up the 3, no good. Rebound pulled out of there by Stimson. And they'll swing it to Haynes, and Haynes will push with 1.5 minutes left. Nearly lost it, now lobs it underneath. Out to Seitz, she'll dribble in the lane, put up shot, and banks it home.
And I'm going to tell you that Tones is probably lucky she didn't get a foul there. Not because she actually did much, as Haynes gets nearly a steal.
And then Stimson able to tap it away, in the lane it goes, travel. As it was
Laney Klossing on a nice pass, but just kind of bobbled it a little and took a couple extra steps. But Tones came up underneath Seitz a little bit there, and I don't know that I'd really say it was a big foul, but I wouldn't have been surprised to see the whistle blown.
Sullivan dribbling it up here, up the court into McGrew. McGrew up and in and good, busting the press.
I don't know if Larry Ryden or anybody's watching right now, but if you can, I want some people to hop in the chat and tell me if you agree that Peyton's already better than Justin was as a freshman.
Ashlyn Kelly up and in and good, 2 steals in a row, and you see West Central getting a little sloppy at the end of this first half.
Yeah, getting a little sloppy and a little tight, it seems like.
Haynes going to drive, goes up, shot no good. Problem is, nice job by Peyton McGrew to hit that ball, caused the bobble.
Stimson comes out, number 20 checking back in, 29 seconds left. We'll have a halftime interview from MDH, and then we'll have Shelby Bowman on after that, so make sure you stick around for Shelby Bowman, playing at Western Illinois right now. Oh, that's a double dribble.
Yep. And that's one of those Laney Clausen. You didn't have to do that. You had 26 seconds left. Take your time. Get a shot.
That's one of the things is you hear coaches say all the time, don't pick up your dribble until you know what you're going to do with the basketball.
And Madeline Sullivan with a 2-on-1 bounces to McGrew. McGrew up with it, in and good. And the press at the end of this first half killing the Heat. As it is now 28-21, the lead down to 7. As Addie Sights out with it, bouncing in the lane, and Kelly going to pick up the foul. Not exactly the worst foul.
17.8 seconds left. Foul is on Kelly.
Leah
It's her
Clausen
first.
will be at the free throw line, but that's one of those when you're putting on pressure, you got to get the backside because you just gave up 6 points and boom, boom, boom. Free throw no good. But if you're going to put on pressure, you got to seal that backside up because you can see what happened there. You got a jailbreak, and getting this. If you don't get the steal, you got to hustle back. Because that is what the Cyclones did is exactly what happened. Second's good. They bring it into McGrew. McGrew back to McClure. McClure up the court to Tones. And to Kelly. I don't think Ashlyn Kelly was quite ready for it.
No, I wasn't expecting it. She was so close to Tones. I don't think she was expecting to get the pass yet. And I think if you're Tones, you hold on to that, Greg, for let Kelly get by you one step and kind of bounce it ahead to her, and she gets an easy layup.
Or either that or you roll and go the opposite way and then bounce it back to her. Sights up the court, lob it in the lane. That one go out of bounds.
6.7 seconds left.
And as I mentioned, kind of the sloppy end-to-end play.
How many possessions can you get in 17 seconds?
Madeline Tones out to Sullivan. Sullivan driving. Tried to heave it into the lane, and that's going to do it for the first half of play. 29-21, the Cyclones.
I want to tell you, that pass right there from Tones cross court to Sullivan was about as good of a pass as you're going to see. She led her perfectly. She caught it in stride and was able to keep going towards the basket. That was a great pass for the Cyclones and for Tones. And Tones is just a freshman.
Sure,
so
I can do that.
We'll take a break here, and we will let you hear from McDonough District Hospital, and then we will have our halftime interview with Shelby Bowman.
And welcome. All right, well, we're here with Bill Murdoch, and this is the second year in a row, Bill, that I've talked to you.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, probably unfortunately for you. I think you might have been the most talked about interview of all of our MDH interviews last year, though.
I don't know whether I need to be proud of that or ashamed of that. I don't know which one to go with.
Maybe both. I don't know.
Probably.
The thing that I find comical is I gave you a hard time last year. As I said, because, man, you're way up the ladder. You know, you're a high-end employee for me to be talking to, and you're even higher up the road now than you were last year.
Yeah. Yes. Last year when we spoke, I was the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer, and since then I've been in the CEO role, Chief Executive Officer here at the hospital for about 8 months now.
Well, not to toot your horn, but everything I hear is good coming out of MDH since you've taken over. So what was your mindset when you stepped into that role, and what do you see MDH doing here this year?
I've never had aspirations to be a CEO of a hospital, but we have a great team here, and I just felt it was that time in my career to step in and take over and see how it goes. We have a great team here at MDH, very proud of everybody. They're very passionate and have a lot of pride in the organization. So it just made that job so much easier for me to step into my new role.
Yeah, it's easy to work with people who want to do a good job, isn't it? And it seems like everybody I talk to here is that kind of person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody's engaged, and they want to do well, and they want to succeed. And we want them to succeed here at the organization.
I think MDH has always had a pretty good name in the area. What are you trying to do for MDH to even step that up a little bit more?
Right. So Pat Osterman and myself, we've done a lot of community relationship building, reaching out to the community leaders, reaching out to our competitors to see how we can work together better, to be a stronger organization overall.
Yeah, strong organization, and you guys continue to add pieces and parts. You've expanded to Monmouth. We talked a little bit about that with your urgent care and physical therapy. The pharmacy is looking really nice right now.
Right, and it's ready to come online. The construction's finishing up this week, and then next step is to get the certifications, inspections going. So we should be open for business later at the end of this year or first part of January.
So we mentioned last year you're relatively local to the McDonough County area. So you're one of the first CEOs that I remember that's local to McDonough. You have like a foothold in the area. Does that make this job, not that being CEO of any company doesn't have meaning, but does it mean a little more for you because you are from here?
It does, and it helps. I think it builds trust because they know I'm local. I'll have that connection with the community. Yes, my mother owns farmland south of town. My father-in-law owns farmland here. My wife's a bomber. She's a leatherneck. I'm a leatherneck. We got kids that are leathernecks too. So I feel like we have a lot of fabric in the community to take this organization to the next level.
Well, we're going to keep the interview shorter, but I cannot get done with this interview without asking if you got any deer last year.
I did. Actually, yes, I did. And as we talked last year too, I participate Hunters for the Hungry, where we donate our harvest, and I did that last year. So yes, I was successful.
So you spend a lot of time at MDH and helping people, and then you're helping people when you're at home too.
Try to. That's a little different. You're by yourself, and sometimes that's good to decompress and do all that. But yeah, no, it works out well.
So what's been the biggest surprise? You never had any ideas of wanting to be CEO. What's been the biggest surprise so far since you've taken a job?
Oh, I think just the loyalty our staff has for the organization. They want it to do well, and I think with that support has made this job so much better for me.
Well, Bill, I appreciate you talking to me. It's always fun getting to talk to you, so hopefully we'll do it again next year, and we'll have new big things to talk about from MDH.
Let's plan on it, and thank you for your time and having me on again this year after last year.
Hey, not a problem. Like I said, you were the biggest fan I think supported video of all of them. So we'll see if you can continue that.
Okay.
Maybe I should give an award.
You think?
I think we should come up with an award.
Okay. You work on that.
Okay,
And then we'll talk about it.
Okay, I'll do that. We'll be back with the second half in just a few minutes.
And welcome back here. Halftime at West Prairie High School in Colchester, Illinois. It's 28-21, West Central leading over West Prairie. It's the Heat and the Cyclones, and we have the star pupil of the Heat program of recent years anyway, Shelby Bowman alongside. Shelby, it's a short drive for you to come watch them at West Prairie tonight, playing basketball at Western.
Yes, it was about 10 minutes. Had the night off, so figured I'd come watch them.
So what's Division I basketball been like for you?
I love it. It's been really fun. It's been an adjustment, that's for sure, but I'm getting better every day, and I couldn't be in a better place.
Well, Coach Gravina is a pretty good dude. I like Coach a lot, get to talk to him quite a bit. But you guys have some pretty good ball players on that team this year too, don't you?
Yeah, we do. We have quite a few good players.
How hard is it watching this now, knowing that you were just here last year? How hard is it coming back and watching your high school?
It's definitely different being in the stands opposed to being out there playing. But like I said, I love where I'm at right now. So, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
We got your dad here with you. I saw him over there, right? It was him sitting behind you.
Yeah.
I've only seen him from the back of his head from up here, so I took for granted that was him. The West Prairie Northwestern people will remember your dad, right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, he was a pretty decent football player. I'm sure you've heard stories about that, though, right?
Yes, I have.
And so what's been the biggest change for you at the Division I level at Western? What's been the biggest change for you as a basketball player?
Probably the pace of the game. It's just so much faster than high school was, and just learning how to play without the ball, because in high school I was like always had the ball in my hands, so just learning how to play off the ball and get my teammates open and not having to score like 30, 40 a game. It's different, but I mean, it's fun learning how to play in a different way.
Defense is probably more important now than it was when you were scoring 40 points.
Yes.
Preventing 40 points is as much important,
had to
right?
work on my defense quite a bit, but I'm getting better.
I told Coach Gravina, and I told some of the people who watch a lot of basketball at Western, I said, you're a little undersized for Division I, but I said you can shoot off the pass, off the dribble. Is that one of the things you think you're going to be able to, as you move through your career at Western, that you'll be able to use that ability to stop and shoot off a pick and shoot off stuff like that?
Yes, it's definitely harder driving in to the basket in college since playing against a lot taller people, so definitely utilizing the outside shot and finding different ways to get open.
So Reagan McCowan, one of the big players, Nicastro, is that it?
Yes,
Am I saying that?
yes.
She's a pretty good ball player, too.
Yes, she is. She's doing really well right now.
Some new players coming in. Are you ready for the OVC?
Yeah, I think so. We have a tough one this Friday against Cincinnati. We've had a pretty tough non-conference schedule, but we've been playing pretty well.
So what would you say if you were in the locker room at halftime here tonight with your old team as a coach? What would you have said to them?
I think they just need to slow down. They look so panicked out there. They just need to slow down and take care of the ball.
What do you think Coach Klossing said to him?
Probably that exact thing.
Shelby, thanks for coming and talking to me. I know that you didn't really want to.
Oh, it's fine.
So I appreciate you coming up. I know they've come and seen you play several times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of owed the girls.
Right,
and
yes.
So you're going to go watch the guys play, too, at some point if you can?
I did over Thanksgiving break,
Did you?
actually, so yeah.
So you're returning the favor of them
Mm-hmm.
coming to watch you. It's a little different atmosphere from
Yes.
Western Hall to here, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but.
Is the bigger court, has it been hard for you?
Not really. I haven't really noticed it much.
Well, that's a good thing then. Well, Shelby, get out of here. I'll let you go back and tell your dad I said hi for me, would you?
Thank you, I will.
That was Shelby Bowman talking to us for a few minutes here at the halftime. Shelby, you want to do color commentary, Shelby? She's like, I don't think so. You want to trade me sides, or you just want to stay there?
It doesn't matter.
I turned you down. I'll turn you back up. I'll tell you what, why don't you just stay there? I'll hand you the clipboard, and I'll run the scoreboard.
There we go.
How
That'll
about
work.
that?
Haynes up with it. And we'll catch line there. Addie Sights down the lane. Gets one, and it goes. If that's on Tones, that'll be 4. It is actually on Ashlyn Kelly, who has bottled her up pretty well so far. And on the floor now for the Heat, Haynes, Higgins, Addie Sights. Free throw no good. Haynes over with the rebound. She misses it. And Higgins out of there with it. Back to Haynes. Haynes with a dribble. Shoots it. Can't get it to go. Fight for it in the lane. Kelly able to steal it. Head up the floor. In the lane. Lays it up. Lays it in. 31-23.
If you're the Heat, you've got to finish at the rim. You had the height advantage. You had the look advantage. You've got to finish those shots.
Well, and now you got Sullivan coming through. One of the things I'm noticing, Dwayne, is the Heat are not getting back at all on defense. Really slow in transition, or have been. And you wonder if that's a little function being a little tired, because they've been really slow in transition. This is and Haynes was very close to stepping in bounds when she brought that one in. Higgins with it. Will dribble on Tones. Tones goes up. And McGrew tried to tear that one away, fight for it on the floor. Now we get the jump ball.
The West Prairie basketball on the jump. 7:01 remaining.
And thus illustrates my point on always been my idea that when you get the ball and if you roll or move at all, that's a travel. Evidently, that's open to interpretation. And that's a nice way I can say it.
Isn't everything open to interpretation anymore?
As a coach, yes. I'm sure the officials would say. I have been known to politely discuss it with them once in a while.
To interpret things differently than they did.
Yes, and to express my agreement thusly.
Agreement or disagreement?
Well, express my disagreement in a always polite manner. And there we get a foul.
Laney Klossing is going to pick up her third foul. Team's first of the third quarter.
And actually, they're wondering why that wasn't a charge. And why? Because Sullivan made a move sideways, Clausing didn't move with her. Kelly having trouble getting it in, finally gets it into Sullivan. Sullivan trapped in the corner, out to Hodges.
That was a nice pass, too, actually.
Joined by Peyton McGrew, Ashlyn Kelly, and Madeline Tones. Sullivan holds it out top, comes to Hodges. As they work around here, 6-minute mark here. Kelly steps up with the three. It's good. Ring it up for Ashlyn Kelly.
A Sports Corner 3, and the Cyclones are right back in it.
And right back the other way, Higgins busts the pressure. Same thing I said, got to get back in transition. As Sullivan will bring it up to Tones, out to Hodges, and Hodges, little indecision with the travel. And now the Cyclones will put on pressure.
Yeah, I asked Shelby. A foul is going to be on
Hodges.
Is it number 10?
Yep, Grace Seitz will be up at the free throw line. And again, if you're going to pressure, you got to make sure the backside works. You just have to, because if you don't, this is what happens. You end up with a transition foul.
I asked Shelby during halftime while you were down running the Chuck-a-Duck contest. I said, if you were the coach, what would you have said at halftime? She kind of giggled a little, and she said, I would have told them that they need to slow down. And a timeout called by
Grant Bland.
Cyclones.
And one of those things with the defense, I keep talking about that, is you have to get everybody flowing, and you have to have communication, know who's back, know who's where, because if you get what I always call the jailbreak, that leads to fouls like that, because you're trying to play catch up, you're trying to get back into it, and you don't. And it's one of those things you've got to communicate that.
Pressure, a press isn't just pressuring forward. You have to just like the offense is trying to flow forward, you've got to flow backwards with the offense. And if you get beat or the ball's the other side, you've got to know where your position is, and you got to get back to that position.
Well, and since we're on the internet, I tell you this, as I would tell my girls, you got to bust your ass and get back. You just do. You cannot get beat.
Grace Seitz missed that one.
And near still by Kelly. Addie touches it, and they call a jump ball.
Possession will go to West Central.
And Grant Blanda still shows he's still got some hops there on the sideline. I'm impressed.
Well, Grant, he lifts and works out quite a bit. He ought to be in pretty good shape. See his dad down there, Dave Bland, here watching tonight. That's about as supportive of a set of parents as Haynes is going to take a three.
Cyclones will get it here. Now, you notice that West Central's pulled back.
Yeah, it allows you to rest a little bit, right? They're in a 2-3 position to start with. Just that the top is how many easy buckets has West Central missed in this half alone?
They have missed a boatload.
Enough to have this to at least a double-digit game, and there's a travel.
Yep. And Madeline Tones limping a little bit. They'll bring in Madison McClure and Haley Hendricks. As I think Tones may have holding the thigh. Knee in the thigh, that was always
hurt.
Sullivan brings it over.
I had a friend of mine who used to walk up to you and give you Charlie horses that way.
Another three by Ashlyn Kelly.
Sports Corner 3, and Kelly's got 2 of them this quarter.
And that one, Haynes, very lucky she did not get called for a travel. That was kind of the load up and the go, and did get the foul. I think that'll be the third on Peyton McGrew. It's 33-29, 4-point lead now for West Central.
That's what I have is the third on Peyton McGrew.
And the timeout called by West Central. We'll step aside as well. Let's take this timeout on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. And welcome back here, and I'm sure Coach Clausing having a long talk with his girls about getting under control. You mentioned, speed up, slow down. Part of that is you're okay with it as long as they get control. You can go fast, but you got to stay under control. There's always that aspect to it.
What year did you graduate high school in Plymouth?
1989.
89. You remember Dan Bowman from Northwestern?
I do.
He's sitting down here. That is Shelby's dad. I don't know if you knew that or not.
We never really played Northwestern, but we used to see him some in summer leagues.
Yep, he's Shelby's dad, and he's here. So there is Shelby does have a tie to West Prairie.
Yep, Mark, her mom. I don't know what that was, but
I don't either. I just turned the volume down.
That'll work. As when the defenders fell down, Madison McClure trying to load it into Hendricks. Out to Sullivan. She'll pop the long three. No good. Rebound tip. Kelly with it. Puts it up. Now Hendricks with it again. Out to Kelly. She'll lob that one high up in the air. And Haynes running ahead of the pack. Yep. Saw that coming as Kelly gets back and gives the foul.
Be the second on her, fourth on the team. West Central still only has one here in the quarter.
As Haynes up with the free throw, no good.
Did you find out who number 20 was?
No, I did not. I was chucking ducks and I was distracted. That was my fault.
Duck chucking will do that to you.
As that 34-29, 5-point lead.
Caden Strins is watching, should be videoing or calling a boys basketball game in Macomb. I don't know what he's on our live chat for. If anybody is watching from West Central, three.
Madison McClure with a sports corner three. And now the Cyclones tightening up a little bit here. Kelly going to bat that in from Haynes. As the Cyclones try to get the win here.
34-32. I was going to say, if anybody in the live chat is listening to this game or watching this game,
steal by McClure in the corner,
can tell us who number 20 is from West Central, hop in there and tell us. We'd be happy to take that information. That was a flying elbow right there, wasn't it?
And people don't realize as Hendricks down blocks the shot from Higgins, and we've got a foul whistled on West Central.
Going to be on number 20, I think. Yep.
And that is their second in this quarter.
Second on her as well.
And that's one of those, is your West Central. You pull it out and work it. It's 34-32. Cyclones as close as it was since 2-0. Sullivan brings it up to McClure. McClure gives a look. Swings to Sullivan, looking again, looks for Kelly, gives it to her on the bounce. Kelly wheels back the other way, lobs the pass up, sights with it. Nice touch pass to Haynes, and Haynes up with it, gets it to go in. Sullivan back the other way, 36-32, Kelly with it.
Lauren Winters is number 20.
Three on the way by Ashlyn Kelly, and it's a 1-point game. And then Addie Sights threw it past Haynes and out of bounds.
Timeout on the floor is going to be charged to the Heat. It's going to be a full timeout, and it's a 1-point game, 36-35. And I thought I recognized her, and I should have recognized her. Lauren Winters is number 20.
Okay.
For the Heat. Thank you very much, Darcy Heap. I appreciate that greatly. I knew I should have known who that was.
And for the Cyclones, a chance to take the lead here, and that's one of those unforced errors as Sights was just triggering and bound super quick. Haynes wasn't ready, and that's one of those, again, getting in a hurry, getting yourself in a hurry. Take your time, get the ball in, work it around.
And that's one of the things, too, that I think is a side effect of pressure, right? Even if you're not pressuring anymore, or it's not something, if we're not pressuring the ball in, just because you know you're going to get the pressure, you try to speed up everything, right? And once you speed up, then you And it's just, even though that the pressure isn't in her face when she throws it in, she knows the pressure's coming, and it's just in the back of your head all the time.
You try to speed up their mind, speed up, or what you'd call speed up their motor. And this pressure, that this group of Cyclones should be able to pressure. And we'll see if they can get the lead here.
Madeline Sullivan, has she sat down at all tonight?
Has not. McClure, they bring it all the way out to Sullivan out top. And it's a very extended, now they're dropping into that 3-2, very extended. Where they've caught him is on the wings, and that's where
and that's probably why, right? The 3-2 covers the wing better.
Yep. Down to McGrew. Beautiful pass by Hendricks.
But it also allows that to happen, doesn't it?
Peyton McGrew with a nice pass in there. And now Sullivan up the sideline. Got to get in front slide. Madeline mad at herself. And that's one of those, that'll put them up at the free throw line because that is a 15 foul. 2 minutes left to go in this third quarter. 37-26 lead for the Cyclones. That's 2 on Sullivan.
Leah Klossing at the free throw line. Is that right? 0?
Mm-hmm. I got to apologize. I know I clapped there, folks. Just. And this Heat team, I like these girls too. Higgins, love her as a post player.
Well, and this game isn't a 1-point lead for the Cyclones if the Heat just make their easy buckets.
Right.
They're still up by 10 right now if they've made their easy buckets. There's a nice spin move by Higgins on a rebound.
And again, those are the things that Higgins does very, very well, extremely well.
1:58 remaining.
And we had some battles with these young ladies. I was there for several of them. And crossing out top of that, driving the lane, nobody picked her up, lobs that one high, and good thing Higgins was able to get up to it. Haynes in the lane, shoots it, no good. Rebound McGrew out of there. Off to Sullivan. Double teamed in the backcourt. As Haynes, they're yelling at her to go. Minute and a half left. Ashlyn Kelly dribbling down, pulls up her dribble. Bounces to Sullivan. Sullivan, corner out to Kelly. Kelly spots 3, good. She has rung it up.
4 threes in the third quarter.
And on the inbounds, West Central once again throws it away. And really, there was no pressure. Nobody was standing by sights, and Haynes tried to lead her up the court.
Ashlyn Kelly, 14 points in quarter number 3.
That's my girl. Ash, these are things that she has did for me over the years. Love that she's extended her range. McClure, right thought, trying to pass that in the lane to McGrew. And once you shoot outside, that's going to open a lot of things for the Cyclones inside.
Hendricks is a junior or senior?
Is a junior.
Sullivan's a junior. Everybody else is freshmen out there, right?
Wide open on the inbounds. Madeline Sullivan drains it, 42-36. And up to Higgins. Hendricks doing a good job going straight up, but McGrew, I think, going to get the foul from behind.
I don't know. He's looking at Hendricks. I thought he was looking at Hendricks, but you're probably right. No, he is going to give it to Hendricks. That's a big help for the
Heat. Yeah, that
for
one.
the Cyclones, actually, I would say, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
That's 4 on Hendricks, but it's better than 4 on McGrew, probably. I don't know, maybe not.
Man, girl plays defense like that, you got to reward her. You got to reward her. She plays defense like that, straight up.
Yeah, when he was looking back, you were saying McGrew, and I agreed with you. I mean, I agree with you. That's probably who the foul should have been on, and she went across early.
If you went just on the perception, it looked like McGrew, but evidently they called the hip.
But he was looking at Hendricks the entire time.
And honestly, this is one, if I'm West Central, I don't know if I press. I didn't like how things happened in the end of the first half for West Central. Kelly dribbling down, caught in the corner, got to McClure. McClure, nice job keeping a hold of that.
Under a minute to go now.
Sullivan 3 on the way.
Counted in a foul!
Yes, and it counts!
Holy smokes. Did you see the face on Madeline Sullivan on the floor after that big bucket?
And those are moments that this Cyclone program needs. These are the moments that we need to be, and I say we because I have kids in the program. I'm on the other end. These are the moments that we need to have to take that next step. Now, if you're West Central, you're very, very unhappy. You do not foul the jump shooter, and nobody picked up sights. Nice job by Haynes, but they missed the lay-in.
And West Prairie gets the jump ball. Stop the clock. Stop the clock.
And that foul will be the 4th on West Central. 3 on Winners, number 20. And again, Sights was wide open. You got to make those.
Yeah, the clock should have stopped, and it did not. So they put it back at 54. I thought it should have been 56, but Darrell said he saw it at 54. So when he looked up, it was 54. That's better than 48.
McClure up with it, dribbling toward the lead.
Ooh,
Traveled, yep, slid that extra foot. And that's being a little unsure of yourself when you're working it.
A 10-point lead in a game that was 16-4 at the end of the first quarter.
Haynes are working on Sullivan. Sullivan doing a good job sliding back and forth. Haynes dribbling up.
Oof. That's exactly what I was talking about in the first half when Tones could have gotten called for that foul. She gets that one there, and that'll be her 4th.
And it's one of those things where she slid under a little bit.
Yep, you got to hold your position. You can't walk into them, and that's what she did. 39 seconds exactly on the clock. Haynes at the free throw line shooting a couple. Hits
Makes
the
it first. And that's big. They've struggled from the free throw line. They've struggled with layups in this quarter.
This game is far from over. There's a whole nother 8 minutes to play, and it hasn't been like the Heat haven't had their opportunities here, Greg. They just haven't been able to capitalize on them.
Well, and you always say that's the woulda, coulda, shoulda. And Haynes with a travel. That was, again, we talked about that, the multitude of chances, and just to pick up your feet and travel.
Put the ball down one time there, and you get an even easier layup. And there, McClure steps across the end line. That's the second time that official's been hitting the chops by basketball. Both of them from Cyclones.
And that's a little frustrating. That is a lot of frustration.
I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. Madeline Sullivan's got
blood on the
blood
jersey.
on her shorts.
And she's going to have to change shirts, so they're going to check Josie Hodges in.
Coach Bland just walks by. He goes, "What do you? Who can change pants in 15 seconds?"
Yep.
I guess if you had shorts underneath your shorts, you could have done it on the floor, maybe. But
Haynes with that one, no good. Rebound, Ashlyn Kelly. She'll take off out of there, and Haynes pulled the Olay. Kelly up with it, miss the lay-in, fight for it underneath.
That's out of bounds. Yep. That's a good call. Yep, Laney Klossing came from out of bounds, inbounds, the first to touch it, and it's West Prairie basketball. That's a good call.
Well, you can be the first to touch it, Dwayne, but you have to establish both feet first.
And Laney was disagreeing with it as well. Yeah, I didn't think she was all the way back in bounds either. The attitude has changed drastically in this gym.
Yep. And a foul as Peyton McGrew gets in the middle there, picks up the 5th on the West Central team.
It's the 4th on Higgins.
And there comes Madeline Sullivan.
She's number 1 now.
McGrew free throw, no good. I think they're making sure the
fouls roll over.
Yep. Hey, that would be a great switch uniform.
Hey, can you just drop a piece of red paint on my jersey?
Yep.
Second free throw is good for Peyton McGrew.
And ball on the floor. Tied up, possession arrow.
To West Central.
West Prairie. And again, that's another one of those, that's at least the fourth inbounds that West Central has had trouble with.
Oh. Huh. I don't miss jump balls very often, but huh.
Into McClure. McClure 3 on the way. No good. Nearly got her own rebound. Fight for it on the floor. Jump ball. It'll say West Central Heat ball.
$11 jump balls, 2 of them at the end of quarters.
13 seconds left. Higgins dribbling.
Oops.
Lobbed that one up and tapped Ashlyn Kelly with the steal to Sullivan. Layup is in and good. Yes, and it counts.
Higgins just fouled out.
And that's one of those, as a player, you've got to understand.
He will.
I have 4 fouls. I'm going to get out of the way.
Haynes doesn't want to go back in.
And Sullivan will try to put the Cyclones free throw, no good. Haynes down with the rebound, and that's the end of the quarter. As the Cyclones lead it here by a score of 49-38.
47-38.
47-38.
Well, I have 49. Did they not put the last 2 on the scoreboard? Or did I hit it twice?
What's up? I thought it would be 49.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if they change it.
They're checking.
So we'll stay here for this and see what they come up with.
It's 47-38, 9-point lead here for the Cyclones. Exciting times for them because trying to come home with a win here be huge for these young ladies. However, it has been a good game. And for West Central, you see a little frustration, a few things coming and trying to get, I guess, a little frustration coming out of them. And it's one of those things that, as a coach, Clausen's telling them, gotta calm down. Got to come down. We're just fine. Do the things we know how to do, and we are just fine. All you have to do is go to work, do your thing.
What are we doing here?
I think they're trying to get the scoreboard reset, and
it is 49.
Our scoreboard is very difficult sometimes to work with. I stay away from it. It doesn't like me, and I don't like it.
You don't like anything that says technology at all.
Well, darn straight, I don't.
We went over that already, though, didn't we?
We did. And 49-38, Cyclones start the quarter with an 11-point lead in with the basketball. Time to be patient, work hard, be aggressive. You don't want to lay off of it. You want to be aggressive. And now West Central has broken into man-on-man. Sullivan looking in the lane. Had McGrew a second, comes to Ashlyn Kelly. And she traveled as she went to stop, skidded that foot. But again, this is where you calm down. Run your offense. Stay aggressive. That's one of the things that frustrates me the most is when coaches just get them out of the aggressive mode. You can run time and still be aggressive. As Haynes dribbles down, kicks it out to Sights. Wide open. 3 is good. And that is a great possession for West Central to start this quarter.
Addie Sights, right?
Addie Sights, yep. Worked it in and out with Haynes. And now the Cyclones just have to relax and do their thing. Do the things that got them here. And McGrew is open twice. They've got feeder down low. I mean, that's one of those you got to do. Madison McClure trying to drive in and travels with it. Josie Hodges will come in, replace McClure. And Ashlyn Kelly applying what I call token pressure. As Haynes will dribble it up, Sullivan will give her a chase.
Tones is going to get her 5th foul, I do believe.
And that's one of those, a little Academy Award-winning acting probably would have gotten you a charge on that one. Maybe a little slide if you fall over. As Madeline Tone's going to foul out, Haley Hendricks will come in. A 49-41 lead here, 7 minutes left to go in the game. Haynes' free throw is good. And again, like we've said, West Central just need to calm down a little bit. And for West Prairie, just keep up what they're doing. Just rebound.
No shot. It's on the floor, I do believe. McGrew.
Called for the foul.
Her 4th.
And got to block out on free throws. Got to block out on free throws.
That's what the Heat have done a fantastic job of rebounding missed free throw opportunities. And there's a lot of contact there as well. Holy smokes.
People falling down, falling all over. Kick out to Seitz in the corner. 3 is up, no good. Hendricks the rebound. Off to Sullivan. Sullivan going to dribble it up. 49-42. Sullivan across the timeline. Ashlyn Kelly wide open. Had it for a moment, then pulled it down. Has it stolen away. And if that's on Peyton,
McGrew.
And she is fouled out.
That's huge.
And that's one of those, aggression is good, but you got to, the same thing, you got to know the situation. Peyton McGrew, good game for her tonight.
11 points. 12 points, excuse me.
And Grant Bland will take a 30-second timeout, trying to cool things down here. So 2 players already fouled out here for Grant Bland. And again, he's telling them in the huddle. But first, we're going to take this timeout on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
Dry needling is where you insert a filiform needle into a muscle, a tendon, a ligament, sometimes a bone, and it promotes blood flow and circulation so that it heals that particular painful area.
And back here, and Dwayne, you and I talk about this. Part of learning how to win is learning how to handle situations like this. And that's what the Cyclones are facing in this quarter. Same with West Central, learning to come back. It's all a learning process with young players. And with a 7-point lead, you've got to be aggressive. And again, with foul trouble, we saw that with Higgins, we saw that with Tones and with McGrew. Got to know the situation. Got to move yourself. If you got 4 fouls, you don't want to give up a cheapy one. And they're checking timeout situation.
We had them with 2 timeouts, the Cyclones. We were 1 off on both of them. Cyclones only have 1. Heat have 2.
Haynes up with it. Looking over for Seitz. Seitz down the lane. Shoots it. No good. Rebound fought for with it. And she's going to throw it out of bounds. And that will.
She did the Ashlyn Kelly did the ole right there herself because Seitz was trying to throw that off of her. And Kelly just kind of slid left just enough to get missed by the ball.
And ball into Kelly.
4 3-pointers in the third quarter for Ashlyn Kelly. That went off of ball.
To Hendricks. Hendricks having trouble with it and is fouled.
That's 4 on Lauren Winters.
And the explanation the official gave is the reason she traveled, she was pushed. Which I think I've said that, but in a more angry tone. Mason Shipman with a shot, no good. And Haynes with it in the corner. Bouncing right to Sullivan. Sullivan in the lane, lays it up, no good. Shipman with it, puts it up. Traveled.
That's a good call. She did travel. She stepped back and brought both feet back and then jumped to shoot. That's a travel.
Haynes in with it to Seitz. Sights up the floor. Dribbles to the lane. Kick out for Clausing. Couple dribbles, and Josie Hodges steals it away.
Laney Clausing is going to pick up somewhat of a silly foul right there. That'll be her fourth.
And that's one of those anger fouls. Your frustration, you foul, and you can't. In a game like this, you can't have that. Sullivan up with it, driving in the lane, goes up, shot no good. Rebound, Haynes right down with it.
I'm going to ask you something, and as we go through the game here, I want you to think about it before you answer.
Okay.
Sullivan there's a 3 on the way by Sights. That'll be huge.
And cuts the lead down to 4.
Does having
foul?
You called that?
Yeah, going to be a foul called. And so it'll be Heat ball out of bounds.
That's the second on Sullivan.
McClure going to come in. She'll replace Shipman for the Cyclones.
What I was going to say is having somebody like Madeline Sullivan, even though she hasn't played, man, there's a good look for.
Hodges couldn't get to it, but tapped it out of bounds.
Having somebody like Madeline Sullivan, even though she hasn't been playing basketball the last couple of years, that's used to winning on a team that wins and has that winning attitude, how much can that help a team like this basketball team? Because you see what she's doing, quite a bit of leading here.
And very much. Very, very much. Now, fans are wondering why the ball is brought back over here. No one touched it. So it's brought back to where it was brought inbounds, not where it went out. Now, if it had been touched, yep. And that one, tough pass.
And that both teams are struggling to inbound the basketball. Is that good defense or poor inbound play? Oh, and counted in a foul.
As Haynes right up and in with that one. And they're going to give that one to Josie Hodges.
It's her third.
And one of those things you'd like to see Josie do, obviously smaller than Haynes, you come running out of the lane and attack. Attack her on your territory, not her territory.
Yeah, don't wait for her to come to the post where she's going to have the advantage.
Yep.
Well, break there for Laney Clausing to tie her shoe. Old-fashioned three-point play completion here. It's been all Heat in quarter number 4.
Missed the free throw, but the rebound going to come out to Haynes. Up to Sights, wide open. Nobody picked her up. 3 on the way, no good. Rebound tipped again, and Winters the rebound. Threw it right to McClure. McClure avoiding traffic. Needs to get it under control, and she traveled.
No, she gets called for the carry.
Carry, travel.
Same thing. Ends in the same thing, doesn't it?
Turnover.
It doesn't matter what you call it. This ball still goes to the other team. You see,
Sights going to bring it right into Haynes. Nobody had picked her up. Haynes into the lane. And that one, that was a good no call because she jumped into her.
That's a travel.
And that was a really good no call by the officials because Haynes initiated the contact on Hendricks.
And Hendricks was moving away already. She was, I think if Hendricks would have been set or in position straight up and down, she might have got a charge there, but she was moving away too, so.
Inbounds to Hendricks. Hendricks to Hodges. Hodges can push it a little.
Hendricks has 4 fouls too.
And that one going to go out of bounds.
Coach Bland was lobbying for a touch there by Addie Sights. Did you see that?
Yep. I've been known to do that a time or two.
He was lobbying. He didn't lobby real hard, but he did lobby.
And Clausing, West Central Heat will take a timeout. We'll step aside as well. This is TSSR Game Time Live presented by MDH.
MTC Communications is building a high-speed fiber network in our community, and we're putting priority on the areas with the greatest interest. That means we need your input to let us know you want us to build fiber in your area first. Experience the speed and convenience of fiber internet by visiting our special website and registering. Let us know you want fiber internet today, and make your voice heard.
And we are back here, 49-47. One more foul on West Prairie means free throws upcoming for West Central. Excuse me. Also, you have just two now on
the
Heat.
Heat,
So
which this goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? How this 5-foul thing changes how you have to coach a basketball game down the stretch, because now you have to foul 3 more times to get them to the free throw line.
Yep.
Whereas, you would have had the 5 or so you had in the third quarter, and you'd be in 1-1 situation already. You're not here, so
Right.
you've got to keep that in mind. You're down by 2. You don't want to foul because you don't want to give them the ball back, or you don't want to give them free throws, but you got to foul because you don't want to get stuck at a point where you have to foul, and you can't, or it doesn't do you any good.
With a one-possession game, I probably would. I mean, we'll see how the game goes. If you're still down with about 2 minutes left, that's when you start considering it. Depending on how the game goes, if West Prairie gets a couple buckets quick, and Haynes right into the lane, nobody picked her up. Hendricks the rebound, had it. Sullivan comes out with it. Sullivan lost her shoe.
And then got fouled by Burrell.
And that'll be the third team on West Central. And I think what Coach Clausing's doing is doing a little offense-defense substitution. Although that was Burrell's first.
Interesting to see, this is a man press now, it looks like. Well, no, because there's a pretty good shot to the face right there. Did you see that?
And back the other way, it is Winters, puts it up, gets the layup to go, and we're tied. Inbounds from Hodges into Sullivan, and that's a foul on Leah Clausing. Sullivan hitting that tile part pretty hard.
Well, we don't have to worry about whether they have 5 fouls anymore.
No. Next one they'll be shooting. 49-49 tie. And all you're telling the girls, play good defense. Yes, be aggressive in that, go for steals, but do it in a manner that Ashlyn Kelly steps on the sideline. She goes to dribble it up.
Lauren Winters did a good job. Winters is playing with 4 fouls as well, but she got to the position and then kind of just headed her there. She led her that way and then got out of the way and didn't get the blocking foul.
And I'm sorry, I had it right. Laney Clausing and Burrell are doing defense-offense substitution. Haynes dribbling up, going to try to go past Hendricks. Right up and in and good. And the Heat have a 2-point lead. And we have a blocking foul on Addie States. And that'll be
free throws.
Free throws for the Cyclones. Eitz thinking that she was in front.
Seitz is like, what do you want me to do? I think that literally is what she just told Coach Costing. What do you want me to do? Sullivan still trying to get the first points of the quarter for the Cyclones.
The Cyclones struggling a little bit.
Scoring the basketball here in quarter number 4. 3:51 remaining. Sullivan trying to get the first points from the free throw line.
And no good on the first.
We'll point out, though, that the Cyclones were slow in the first quarter. They started the second quarter pretty slow again, but then came on late in the quarter. They kind of were a little slow to start the third quarter, came on at the end of that quarter, so there's still a lot of time left in this one.
And both shots no good. Haynes down with the rebound. She'll push it up. And this is one of those, with the way we've had the turnover issues, this is one of those where that is not the shot you want.
Seitz just earned that one by the complaining the last time.
And that is her fourth. And that's one of those, she was hoping to be bailed out by the foul call, and I got to give Haley Hendricks credit, just went straight up on it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that may not have been called earlier, but the complaining.
We're in the fourth quarter.
The complaining that she got on the last one, I think earned her that one, in all honesty.
Haley Hendricks, free throw, no good. So we'll try to draw the Cyclones within one. Ready's the next. It is up and rattles out, no good. Pass up the court, and Leah Clausing skidding her feet there. She had plenty of room to dribble. Dwayne could have just dribbled it across and was so eager to try to get it out of her hands if she traveled with it.
We've seen a lot of that tonight, haven't we?
It's freshmen. It's freshmen. When freshmen are in the game, that's what happens.
How many freshmen are playing right now?
Sullivan down the lane, up with a shot and good, and we're tied. Inbound's nearly poked away, and they'll work it up the court. Winters looking to drive down. Goes up over Hendricks and scores. 53-51. Sullivan up the court with it. Spins away from Leah Clausing. Looks to Madeline McClure. 3 is up, and Haynes is going to commit the foul. That's 3 shots upcoming.
Running and jumping at a three-point shooter and not running into them is an art form.
And actually, they're going to say it was after the shot. So that is the 3rd on Haynes. McClure misses that one.
What I was saying is that running and jumping at a three-point shooter is an art form because of exactly that right there.
Well, and
you have to either run by them or stop short of them.
And I guess I would pull Haynes aside and say, look at you, look at Madison McClure. If you jump straight up, you make the shot hard, you don't come crashing into her. Get 1 of 2, 53-52. In it comes to Leah Clausing. She is a freshman. Over to Haynes. Haynes looking for Burl. Now Haynes going to dribble up, takes it to the basket, lays it up. No good. And Cyclones turn it over out to Seitz.
Oh, that should have been a foul, though.
And then there's another one underneath.
That's 4 on Hodges.
Well, and I'll disagree with you on that one.
She was moving forward that time. Her arm, just because your arms are straight up doesn't mean you're not leaning into the player.
I would give that to the defense on that one. Players, your offensive player is initiating contact, and that's usually what the officials will say. Your offensive player is initiating the contact.
But you can't lean into them either. I mean,
correct.
She was leaning into her forward, even though it was. You can say it was initiated. If they're both leaning forward, they're both initiating. If that's the case, it's a foul on defense.
Well, and you also got the defensive player has a right to verticality too, and that may be as Sullivan dribbling there.
Yeah, but that's still, if you're leaning forward, you're not vertical. You're moving forward. If you're coming forward, you're moving forward. Even just because you jump doesn't mean you're vertical.
McClure with it, dribbling lane, had it poked away. Winters out with it. Actually, that is Winters with it now.
For somebody who didn't want to come back in with 3 seconds left in the third quarter, Haynes is having a pretty good quarter.
And West Central, that's what they're saying, 54-52 lead. Let's get a better shot. Let's work it around. Let's get who we want in the post. Haynes trying to work. They're trying to, and Sullivan says nope.
Getting it to Winters and letting Winters post up Hendricks is not a bad plan, though, because both of them are playing with 4 fouls. As long as Winters doesn't lower her shoulder, she can try to draw that 5th foul on Hendricks. And if they do that, then there's no big people. There's a travel.
Double dribble, actually, she went back. And that's one of those, again, if you're West Central, you're not in a hurry to score. You want to get a really, really good possession.
I feel like almost there. She was trying to do exactly what we were talking about. She was trying to draw that foul. And she was so worried about making contact that she forgot she had to dribble to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and a little bit of that, too. She was the pass was to her outside hand, and it was a little bit of a bobble. Inbound pass to McClure, poked away by Winters.
And she traveled.
Yep. And I think she was waiting for her dad to call a timeout and just kind of pick the ball up. Kind of absentmindedly just picked the ball up. Now here, you look, Madison McClure to Hendricks, to Sullivan. Sullivan back to Hendricks. Shot on the way, no good. Seitz down with it.
I would have liked to see McClure take about 1 or 2 more dribbles before she made that pass. Forced the defender to pick or choose, right? Now that time I will give you 100%.
And they're going to whistle a foul on that. Important who this is on.
It's on Leah Clausing, her first.
And Winters is saying that's not a foul. And no, the defender has a right to their position.
Well, she wasn't leaning forward. She was standing straight up and just letting Winters make contact. You can hold your position, and that's what she did. The nice thing is she didn't flop.
Yeah.
She held her position.
And that will get called nowadays. I have had that, and surprisingly enough, in one of our junior high games, they will call the flop.
Yeah.
That was another one of those points of emphasis in the rules and that, the intentional.
I've already seen a flop warning this year. Actually, it was Darrell Lippinson who gave the flop warning at Bushnell. No, it wasn't at Bushnell. It was at Macomb. No, it was at Bushnell. I can't remember. There have been too many already.
And Josie Hodges gets 1 or 2, 54-53. Leah Clausing, and walk up the court. There's no reason to hustle. You have the ball, and Sullivan nearly stole it away. Winters picks it up, comes down to Seitz. And so it'll be a sideline play on the out-of-bounds official, trying to save Madeline Sullivan from hitting the wall. And they bounce it out. That one nearly stolen. Out to Haynes. Haynes wisely holds it above her head. Cyclone's going to have to pressure. And a good possession. Haynes drives right in and scores. They bring it in to Madison McClure. She got Haley Hendricks ahead of her. Hendricks wisely waiting. As Grant Bland will call a timeout. 1:02 left to go, 56-53. We'll take a timeout right here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
And we talked about Madeline Tones earlier. Boy, there is a humongous bruise. If you look on her leg, those hurt. As she was down there in the huddle, I was kind of watching, trying to see what Coach Grant Bland was saying. And Madeline Tones has a war wound on that leg. And that one's going to hurt tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know when it bruises already. Of course, with me, I just sneeze and bruise, but
that's because we're old.
Exactly. Now, if you're West Central, now you pressure hard on the ball, and if you're West Prairie, you don't have to have a three. A three is not a necessity.
But you don't need a turnover.
Yes. Haynes
need to foul here?
I'd give about 5 or 8 seconds, and I don't want it in Haynes' hands.
I don't know. She hasn't shot the free throws very well today, though.
And that you had a simultaneous possession to start.
Yep.
And then
Boston's going to pick up the foul.
And it ended up not mattering, and that's one of those, again, West Central get in a hurry. Time is your friend.
Yep.
Right now, time is your friend. You do not have to score. Just hold the ball.
Coach Thiel used to say, if the other team never scores, you can't lose.
Yep.
And that's where you're at here. You don't have to score. You just can't. If they don't score, you don't lose.
Sullivan makes the first. Try to cut it to 1. And Burrow comes in. Coming out is Laney Clausing. Second one, a little bit short. Haynes with a nice rebound. Cyclones got to get up. Now you probably have to foul somebody, or now get them in a trap like that.
Great position.
And very lucky that Coach Clausing had a timeout in his pocket. That illustrates a point that I scream in practice at my girls about. if you're going to come, you do not go over the timeline at the sideline. You just walked yourself right into a trap.
That's a killer corner right there.
And once with the dribble, once you go across half court, you've just added another defender in that half court stripe. And good job by the Cyclones to be up there and trap.
Well, in that case, you've added 2, right? Because you got the sideline as one and the half court stripe as one, and then 2 defenders. You're being defended by 4 people.
Yep.
Essentially, and there's nowhere you can go. And that is the hardest double team, quote unquote, to get out of, is when you're trapped in a corner like that.
It is.
And the same thing can happen in the down in the corner at the baseline too, but it just doesn't happen as often, obviously.
And if I'm not mistaken, that may have been West Central's last time out.
Nobody has any timeouts left. Well, they say scoreboard has West Central with 1, but I believe they have 0.
Now you're going to have to get up. You have to get up. You're going to have to force a 5-second count. Somebody's going to have to get out.
You see who they don't want to have the ball is Haynes. Seitz did not need to shoot that, but it's going to stay with the Heat.
As tipped out of bounds by Hendricks. Yeah, that's one of those. If you're West Central, I'm Coach Claus, I'm saying, unless you have a wide open lane, you don't shoot the ball. The clock is our friend. And Sullivan will give the foul.
Sullivan's got a cramp, I think.
That's going to put Haynes at the line with 11.8 seconds left.
One of these is nice. 2 of them are huge.
Yep. Now, a certain Mr. Stone will argue with me on 2-possession games.
Well, we did have a 4-point play in the first half.
I'll still call it a 2-possession game. So
no, I agree with you. I don't disagree with you. But in his defense, we did have one of those.
Yeah, right.
The first one was off no good for
The
Haynes.
likelihood of that, I'll take bets on it any day of the week. Both free throws no good.
Hendricks with the rebound.
Ball out to Hodges, up to trying to get McClurg. Stolen by Seitz. And they give a personal.
Hendricks, I think, will get it. And that'll be her 5th.
And that was one of those, the right thought, maybe not at that time.
That is the 3rd Cyclone to foul out.
But those are learn and grow moments. Learn and grow moments. You have to learn how to be in those situations.
Yeah, now, you don't want to see a player foul out, but literally, if you want a chance to win this game, you had to foul there.
Right.
The quickest instance you had to foul, you had to do it. So.
And if I'm Coach Clausing, I tell Seitz, make the first, miss the second.
Well, she's halfway there.
I mean, I guess you can just make both and then go for it.
Make both and it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
Well, she just ripped it away.
Yep, and that's the game. 57-54. The Cyclones come back and, or the West Central Heat come back and win that one. And that one's going to be tough for both sides. That was a hard-fought, tough ball game. But you got to give credit to the West Central Heat for sticking in. Cyclones much improved from the times I've seen them earlier this season. And there'll be better days for those Cyclones coming up. That was a hard fought one. And for West Central, they'll learn as well. I believe Dwayne's trying to figure up things quick.
Yeah, my stats did not match what they had up there on the board, so.
Take it with a grain of salt. As I always say, a very unofficial on that. But tonight's game, again, hard fought. And those, as I said, learn and grow moments.
So for the Heat in the win, 20 points for Harley Haynes unofficially. She was actually 21 points, excuse me. She had 5 free throws on the night, which proved to be very key. Addie Seitz scored 4 points. Her first 4 points was on 4 of 6 free throw shooting in the second quarter. She ended up with a team second high of 15. 3 points for Leah Klossing. 3 points for Addison Burrell. 3 points for Lainey Klossing. 6 points for Lily Higgins, who was in foul trouble pretty much all night long. And Laura Winters had 8 points, 4 of them in the fourth quarter. The Cyclones were led by a team high 18 points for Ashlyn Kelly, who had 4 threes in the third quarter to finish with 18. Madeline Sullivan had 14 points, 11 points for Peyton McGrew, 2 points for Josie Hodges, and 3 points for McClure, Madison McClure. I think the key to this game is, the Cyclones showed they can do some things, showed they're moving in the right direction, and both teams showed that they have some freshmen that can play basketball.
Yes, they do. Both these programs are looking on the way up. You got a fantastic, really a well-played game overall for both teams. I know people are going to argue with me on the scoreboard, but better days ahead for both squads. This, again, is one of those learn and grow moments, teachable moments. You go over the late game situations, and these are the things that we could have done, that we could have set up, that we could have gone and done to win that game. And that's what you go back and you coach, and both sides. And you go back to the heat practice, and you say, hey, we lost a little bit in that third quarter, and we need to be very, very, very careful at how we do things.
Well, and if you're the Heat, you say, hey, we won a game that we didn't play very well. I mean, we missed a lot of easy shots. We just make half of our easy shots that we missed, we win that game by 16 points. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we've shown now that we can win a game that we aren't playing our best in. That only helps going forward. We know if we play our best, and if we have a bad moment instead of a bad middle 2 quarters, we just have a bad moment, we can rebound from it and we can overcome it. So
yeah, and that's you say to both sides. I mean, there's a lot of things, that you learn as you are going. And that's one of those things that you take a learn. So I guess we'll be back here Thursday night for Cyclones in Brown County.
Yep.
And Friday, triple dip this week.
And then it kind of takes a slowdown here at West Prairie for quite some time, I think. Doesn't it?
Yes. Unfortunately, on the 13th, I am out of town, headed to Wisconsin to celebrate Christmas. So
nice.
As my usual thing. So I probably won't see you again until probably the Macomb Western Holiday Tournament.
Yeah, that'll be fun again.
It would.
I guess.
Always
it's fun
is.
for you because you only come a couple games a day.
That's right.
It's not as fun for us that are there all day, every day.
I'm a part-timer, and I resemble that remark.
Well, you've been watching McDonough Telephone Cooperative coverage of Cyclone Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I thank you to Mallory for running the camera, to Greg for doing the play-by-play. I'm Dwayne. Thanks for watching. We'll be back Thursday night. We got games tomorrow night on TSSR as well. We'll see you again very soon.